High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm Drew Collins. We're glad you've chosen to spend some time with us tonight, and we're glad to be back doing the show that we love to do.
Oh yeah, we have transitioned from football to now basketball. We got your highlights, your scores, a look ahead to a huge day of hoops tomorrow at Rock Valley College, plus my interview with Hononegah boys coach Tom Schmidt. And we spotlight Lutheran senior Soraya Parker, who has had a record-breaking high school career so far. But let's get things started with Nick 10 boys highlights. Hononegah took on Belvedere North, but this wasn't a typical Hano North game, Drew.
No, because the game was played at Rock Valley College. It was the opening game in the Rumble in the Rock weekend. It's the Gillies Heating and Air Conditioning game of the week. There's the crowd. They were loving it tonight. Belvedere North had this game within 10 points before the half. Nathan Alexander was getting to the rim like we always see him do. Next up was Braden Lewis. He led the Blue Thunder with 19 points, but his effort wasn't enough for B North. Hano was aggressive here in the second half. That's Dante Bell getting the and one through the contact. But it was all about Oba Fasa Lojo. He is a certified bucket getter. He dropped a light 25 points in this one. It's not just the deep shots. Check out the craftiness too. Mid-range Jay falls. We go right back to Fasa Lojo. He finds Wyatt Henson in the corner, and that was nothing but net. He finished with 14 points. Hano was up by over 20 in the second half. Fasa Lojo just taking it to the rim with ease. And now we'll go right back to the corner. Henson finds his spot and pops. Hano cruises to a 77-47 dub. Going into tonight, Guilford and Auburn were leading the Nick 10 with 5-0 conference records.
So let's find out how they did. Tyler Sorensen had the Vikings covered for us at the Ship. Tyler?
Yeah, guys, the Vikings have been the Nick 10 champs the last 3 seasons, and man, they want another one. Tonight, they try to keep it rolling in conference play as they hoisted the Boylan Titans. Now, the light would start out right for the G-Vikes with Cooper Pozzi hitting a 3 as they would jump out to a 15-0 lead to start the first quarter. And that would continue as Cordell Spencer drives and kicks it out to Brandon Chapman, who hits the 3, ending the first quarter with a double-digit lead. Now, second quarter, why not go back to Chapman as he drives, picks up the dribble, and hits the floater. Now, that's just how the night was going for Boylan, as even on the offensive side, attacking the paint does not work as they would get rejected by Rick James Jr. And a few possessions later, you know Chapman will get to work as he takes it to the left and finishes with the right. He would end with a nice 13 points. Now Boylan would try to gain some momentum as Christian Kennedy jumps the pass, tries taking it all the way, but loses his footing, but it gets put up and in by Eli Farr. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't their night as Henry Cassiano would drive and get the and one as Guilford takes this one by 30 points, defeating Boylan 75-42. Now, guys, this Guilford team is fun to watch, and I would not be surprised if they cruise to another Nick 10 championship this year. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Now let's see how Auburn did. The Knights took on Harlem. The Huskies got out to a 13-6 lead in the first quarter. Majai Sinner was hot early from behind the arc. Sinner takes the handoff like he's Josh Jacobs and turns it into some points. The Huskies were without Mateo Pereira tonight, and that would catch up to them. From the second quarter on, it was all Auburn. Here's Champ Parker with the steal and the jelly lay. The Knights started to play their game, and that's the run and the fast break. Check out Parker with the Euro teardrop at the rim. It was time for Amir Danforth to get in on the action. Here he is. The Rockford SGA has the finesse and the finish. Mikewan Marshall wanted in on the action as well. He wants the ISO. He will get the ISO. Step back J. Too good. Danforth finished with 26 points, including this spinaroo. NDSU is getting a real one. Auburn wins at 70-36.
Our next stop is Jefferson. The Jayhawks hosted Belvedere. Second half, Romeo Valerio setting the tone with a block, and Demetrius Taborn turns that turnover into points. Alejandro Almanacid collects a loose ball. Throws it ahead to Jaden Williams, who puts in 2 points. Buck's going to swing the ball around the arc, and the Buck stops with Devon Embry for the 3 ball that's down the hatch. Mike Townsend now putting his head down, barrels to the defense for the and one. And Belvedere's Dominic Alvarado going to inbound on this next play to Taborn. He's going to drive, right there he is, down the lane, and in a crowd, he just hands it off. And Alvarado teardrops it in. Belvedere edged Jefferson 62-61. In Freeport, the Pretzels held off the ERAB 67-63. Freeport junior Kazion Moorhead scored his 1,000th career point. Way to go there, Kazion. Hey, we already saw one game played at Rock Valley at the Rumble in the Rock, and there's going to be a whole lot more of that happening tomorrow.
The action starts at 9 in the morning with girls' high school game between Jefferson and East. That's followed by another girls' game between Auburn and Guilford. At noon, the Rock Valley College women will play Bryant and Stratton College. At 2 o'clock, the Rock Valley men will play Bryant and Stratton. Then there will be 2 boys' high school games. At 4 o'clock, Jefferson and East will go at it. Then at 5:30, Auburn plays Guilford.
That's the big one between the 2 Nick 10 co-leaders. Here's what the players and coaches are saying about that one and about playing at RVC.
But I think it adds an extra flair to it. Just the environment alone, more people will be in the house, and it won't be as tight as when it is at the 2 schools. It's going to definitely bring more people out.
Whenever you play Guilford, what do you have to be ready for when you face the Vikings?
Sure. Well, first of all, they've got they're an unselfish team that has committed to playing defense, and they pay a lot of attention to taking Amir Danforth out of the game. And so, you know, we have to be ready for that. And one thing I do know about the players coming back is they have a lot of depth. So it seems like they probably have, 9 or 10 guys that can really go.
I know we just gonna go out there, do what we gotta do. Past year, that's in the past. Now we here. So Saturday, when the time comes, we're gonna show everybody what we made it, what we've been working on.
What a game that's going to be. It really will be the Rumble in the Rock.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Now, we've got girls Nick 10 action coming up a little bit later, plus we head to Oregon and Byron for boys games. But next, I sit down with Hononegah boys coach Tom Schmidt. His guys are off to a fantastic start this season. You're watching the return of Overtime.
The Hononegah boys basketball team had a great season last year. The Indians won 21 games and they finished 4th in the conference.
And this season, with almost everyone back, the Indians are more of a threat than ever to challenge from the top of the conference. They're 16-2 after tonight's win. Let's get to know this Hononegah team better with head coach Tom Schmidt. You guys are off to a terrific start this season. What would you say has worked so well for you guys that's gotten you to this point with so many wins already?
Yeah, I'd say we're a really well-balanced team. I think that part of that goes with having 5 seniors on this team starting for us. So we've got Caleb Hart has been a varsity player for 3 seasons now, and that's always nice when you have a point guard that's got that type of experience. And Oba Fasolojo and Dante Bell, Demarie Briggs got a ton of experience for us last year as juniors. Wyatt Henson ended up missing last year with an ankle injury for the most part, but he put in a lot of work in the offseason. And just having those 5 seniors kind of familiar with what we do and ready to go right from the start's been a huge benefit.
And they all play so well together, which is, chemistry is huge in basketball, as we all know. Has it just kind of come natural, that chemistry for this group of guys? Or is it just a product of them working so hard at it for so many years?
I think it's a product of them working so hard at it. I think the nice thing about this group is I feel like we've got 5 guys that love basketball on the floor at the same time, and they're all capable of shooting, capable of scoring, and the more comfortable they've gotten playing together, the more willing they are to share the ball and make that extra pass. And when we're doing that, we look pretty good.
Oba has looked real good this year. And he's been a huge part of your team for the last couple of years. Where have you seen the most growth in his game this year?
I would say with Oba, we know that he can score. He's one of the best scorers in the area. He's developed a really good outside shot, but his ball handling and willingness to draw the attention of the defense and find the open man has really kind of helped take not just his game, but take the team to kind of that next level.
Now here's a guy who's been hot for you of late. Jamison Gilbertson hit that 3 ball down into the DeKalb tournament that sent, I think, the semifinal game into overtime. And then he comes back last Saturday and knocks down 5 3-pointers in a win against Barrington. So how much growth have you seen in his confidence in addition to his ability, and what does it mean to you to have him knocking down those 3 balls?
Jay's been great for us all season long. He's been shooting the ball with confidence. He's been a real spark off the bench for us, and when needed in a pinch, he's been able to start and perform really well. Clutch 3 down at DeKalb to send that into overtime. But he's a guy that, he believes that next shot's going in, and you need to have guys like that shooting with confidence, and Jay's definitely been a great spark for us.
You guys have yet to play Auburn, but you have played Guilford, and you were leading by a point or so late in the third, early in the fourth quarter. And those are two teams, if you want to contend for a conference championship, you got to be able to play with those two teams and beat those teams. But even though you lost the Guilford game, what did you see out of that game in terms of this Hononegah team's ability to compete for a conference championship with the likes of a Guilford, Auburn, and whoever else this year?
Yeah, I think going in, everybody knows Guilford and Auburn are kind of the teams to beat. Tons of talent, tons of returning talent. I think our guys are always excited to compete against those types of teams. I think, we always talk about playing as well as we can, regardless of who we're playing, and we don't focus a ton on wins and losses. Obviously, you always want to win, but it's more about the process of us getting better. And, Guilford beat us by about 10 the first time we played them, but hopefully with that kind of process-driven mentality that we've got, we've continued to improve, and hopefully we're more prepared the next time we play them.
Now, I've seen Hononegah several times already this season, and boy, they are legit.
You don't win 16 games by early January by accident.
No, you don't. Coming up in a bit, our Spotlight feature story on Rockford Lutheran Soraya Parker.
But next, we're back to the highlights. We head to Oregon and Byron for big Northern boys games. The Big Northern Conference in boys basketball has several teams that could contend for the conference championship.
Lutheran, Oregon, Byron, and Bago. Yes, there's some very good teams, so let's check out a few of them tonight. We're going to begin at Byron when the Tigers hosted Winnebago. Kason Newton and Caden Considine, they were on the same page on this play as Newton spots Considine down low, and he's got it. Ben Hively is a one-man fast break here. Watch him contort his body and get the basket. 12 points for Hively tonight. Considine's turn to be a one-man fast break. He scored 17 points. Byron led by 15 in the third quarter. And Newton was terrific as always. He scored 22 points in the first half alone. How about that basket? But Bago wasn't about to surrender. Cooper Larson drains a three-pointer. Miles Smith next. Fires in the jumper with a bounce. Smith was extra aggressive tonight. He really stepped up. He scored 31 points. Then Bryant Beck going to score off the fast break. And Bago got back within 1 point with just over a minute to play. But the Tigers slammed the door shut from there, and Newton finished with a game-high 34 points. Byron defeated Oregon 73-64. The Tigers are now 3-0 in conference play. Next to Oregon, where the 13-3 Hawks hosted Rock Falls. Oregon in the white with the basketball. Benny Olade whips the ball down low to Keaton Salisbury. Olade quarterbacking the offense again. Finds Noel Campos in the lane. He lays it off the glass. The Rockets will get some points here off the jumper by Cole Heald. The Hawks are getting a lot of points in the lane. And this is Tucker O'Brien who gets it down inside for the lay-in. Now, great play next by the Hawks. Cooper Johnson to O'Brien to Olade. And that, folks, is how you play basketball. Rock Falls brings a big man off the bench. He is 6'8" Cole Molnix. He's a load inside, and he shows there he can hit the outside shot. Here's Molnix again. Going to tip in his own miss. He scored 10 points. Salisbury going to bury a three. He scored 11 points. Cooper Johnson scored 15, and Oregon defeated Rock Falls 51-42. The Hawks improved their record to 14-3.
Here are some more scores from the Big Northern. Rockford Lutheran defeats Genoa Kingston 78-57. Dixon defeats Stillman Valley 53-37. And at North Boone defeats Rockford Christian 68-48. Let's switch on over to Nickton girls basketball. Guilford played at Boylan. We start with Boylan's Emmy Hernandez. She grabs a steal from Guilford, and she finishes strong at the hoop. The Lady G Vikes would swing it around here, looking for an opening. They'll eventually find Zaria Burnett, who would take over from the top of the key and drive to the basket for the bucket. Let's head on back over to Boylan. Here's Zoe Schmidt. grabbing the deflected pass and laying it up and in. Boylan's Hernandez puts a bow on this one as she grabs the and one, as Boylan takes the dub 51-37. Also tonight, Harlem played at Auburn. Harlem's Selena Santiago gonna fight for the rebound here, go up with it and draw the foul, and she would make both free throws at the line. Lady Knights on the fast break. Nevaeh Brown lays it up, and Auburn is on the board. From the end line, an inbounds pass to Julia Coates. Coates putting it up and getting the bank shot to roll in. Coates will be here again. She's gonna steal a pass, take this one down the court, and watch this beautiful layup here. No problem there for Coates. Fast break mode for Auburn. Nevaeh Brown bounces to LaVea Brown, and the Brown connection completes 2 points. Auburn wins it 65-60. You can find more scores from tonight at mystateline.com.
Up next, we have our Spotlight feature story on the young lady who has more than made her mark on the history of great basketball at Rockford Lutheran, Soraya Parker. Rockford Lutheran has a terrific history in great basketball for the boys and girls. Current Lutheran senior Soraya Parker is now a huge part of that history. Let's take a look in our Overtime Spotlight story brought to you by Rockford Career College. Parker has been the starting point guard for Lutheran going back to her freshman season. That year, she averaged more than 17 points per game, and she was second team All-Big Northern Conference. As a sophomore, she averaged more than 21 points per game, and she passed the 1,000-point mark. Her junior year, Parker was named first-team All-State by the coaches and the media. She also passed the 2,000-point mark, an achievement rarely accomplished by basketball players in this area. This season, Parker has eclipsed 2 more milestones. She passed the great Stephanie Raymond as the all-time girls scoring leader at Lutheran. A couple weeks later, she passed Thomas Kopelman as the overall scoring leader at Lutheran. What did that mean to you to be in that group with those two people?
It means so much. They're both such incredible players, and just looking up to them and hearing about their stories, and I didn't even think I was that close to them.
She really didn't.
She usually doesn't really know what she needs, what she needed to, break the records and so on. So if you bring it up, she's kind of like, oh, that's not in my head. I don't think about that.
Those are really amazing events that occur. They're amazing accomplishments, but she's more focused on playing the game. And those are just beautiful things that come out of it.
Doesn't matter to her. She just loves the game. She loves her team. She wants to win.
Those achievements are the results of hard work and a true love of the sport. Outside of her normal practices with the team, Parker is always going off on her own on weekends and at all hours to train and shoot.
I get up early, and all of a sudden I'll hear something fumbling around at 5:30 in the morning, and she'll come down and I'll ask her what she's doing. She's off to go to training with Gene Houston. And this happens all year round. It's all her pushing herself.
Soraya expressed an interest in basketball when she was about a 4th grader.
My first memory is we had encouraged her to try out a sport or a club, something that got her into a group setting. And we gave her some ideas. Basketball was one of them. And her answer was an emphatic no. And she came home a few days later and she said, I'm going to go for basketball, but I don't want to talk about it.
I denied wanting to play. I told them I didn't want to play a sport. I just thought sports weren't for me, and then they kind of forced me to try. They wanted me to do one physical activity, so I chose basketball, and I just fell in love with it.
Johnson Middle School is where it all began. Soraya was so good, she eventually played on the boys' team there. There she is, standing next to current Lutheran boys point guard Richard Anderson.
I think it definitely helped with physicality and just having a stronger mental game, but it was so fun. I made so many friends that year.
Soraya spent many summers participating in camps and going to gyms to work out. Her enthusiasm for basketball was evident. As for other sports, nothing really caught her fancy, certainly not skateboarding.
No, I gave that one up really quick.
She has played travel ball with the Midwest Wildcats, possibly the most talented travel team this area has seen. Some of her teammates included Peyton London, Malia Morton, Macy Groharing, Bailey Westland, and Cameron Jones.
It was amazing. Growing up with them, they were my best friends. They'll forever be my best friends. I just had so much fun, and they all made me such a better player. We were all competitive in practice, all competitive on the court.
Now Parker is focused on finishing up a strong senior season with her Rockford Lutheran teammates.
You know, she's driven and she's had these goals since she was so young. And offensively, she just has that knack. She has the knack to know where the ball is, to find the ball, to get the shot she needs, to make us a successful team. I still think she has so much more in her. There's a whole nother level there that I don't think she realizes yet.
And Parker will get a chance to reach that next level at Division II Palm Beach Atlantic University in Florida when she goes off to college.
She has a shot at another milestone before this season's over, right?
Yeah, she has a chance to pass Sophie Bruner as the state line's all-time leading girls scorer. Bruner scored 2,542 points. Now, it won't be easy to reach, but she has a chance. We'll be right back.
All right, it's time for our Napleton Auto Group play of the night.
The top play caught on our cameras back to Oregon, where the Hawks show us the blueprint for a fast break. One pass, a second pass, and a layup. That's how it's done. Coaches everywhere are smiling about this one. That's what they want. Cooper Johnson with a one-hand pass. Tuck O'Brien in the touch pass right to Benny Olade, who sticks the landing. The Hawks make our Napleton Auto Group play of the night.
And a reminder, you can see our highlights and scores anytime on our website, mystateline.com.
We're going to be back here again the next several Friday nights on Fox 39 at 11 p.m. right after GN Sports.
That does it for this show.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.